So today I'm going to show you how I flip this dresser that I found on Facebook Marketplace. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the drawers, I'm going to try to sand them down, stain them, and paint the rest of the dresser. So let's see how this goes. So that sanded really easily. I used an 80 grit sandpaper and now I'm gonna go over it with 220. So this is how all the drawers turned out after I sanded them. I really like how they all look except for this one. Some of the stain didn't really come out. It looks a little bit funky. So I might end up having to sand them all off and paint them. I don't know. We'll see how it looks. So the stain that I used is called Hazelwood. I really like it. It usually comes out a lot lighter, but I just find every wood is kind of an experiment. They all come out different. So I'll see what it looks like once it's dry. If I want like a more weathered look, then maybe I'll put the weathered oak on it, but we'll see. So now that the wood has had time to dry, I'm gonna go over it with the weathered oak stain and see how that turns out. While I'm waiting for the drawers to dry, I'm just gonna go over the dresser with a fine grit sandpaper just to take off any little bumps and give the primer a good base to grip onto. Technically, you don't have to with the bullseye primer, but I like to. Now everything is sanded, ready to be primed. I think I might actually keep 6 of the handles. I'm gonna paint them the same color as the dresser, and then if they're ugly, I'll just replace the handles. I don't know. Also, the way I'm gonna paint them is, if you're a hoarder like I am, I'm just gonna stick the screws through just a piece of styrofoam. And it just makes it easier to paint this way. So I'm going to use my bullseye primer and I'm going to roll it on. That gives it a nice finish as opposed to just the brush. Also, you'll have to just excuse the fact that I have drywall sitting behind me in the dining room. We're redoing our bathroom, and everything just happens to land in the dining room. So it's a bit of a construction zone. So this is a hack that I like to do if I want to save a lot of money on a furniture flip. I actually use interior paint because I just buy an entire gallon and you can get them for around $50. The only downside is you definitely have to use a top coat, but I use a top coat anyways. And I typically do 3 coats instead of 2 for furniture paint. So for me, the benefits outweigh the cons. So I'll show you what it looks like after it'll probably be 3 coats of paint. And if if you're wondering what this color is, it's Gray Owl by Benjamin Moore. I painted basically my entire house in this color. And if people are wondering why I didn't just leave it white, because it is really pretty just white, the stain is actually kind of showing through the primer, so I know it's gonna show through the paint. If I had used a stain covering primer, then I could have just painted it white, but I didn't have any on hand, so I decided to just paint it gray. So like right here, you can kind of see where the stain is bleeding through, and that would show up if I just used a white paint. Hopefully it doesn't show up for the gray paint. I like to use the lint-free microfiber rollers just to get rid of the brush strokes. The top coat that I'm going to use is the Varathane Soft Touch in a matte finish. It still has a little bit of a sheen, but it's not really that glossy. And I just like that it doesn't really streak. Some of the top finishes will. Now that it's all dry, I'm just gonna take the tape off and put it back together. Before I put the drawers in, I'm just gonna take this little wax candle and rub it on the bottom of the drawers just so that they slide easily. Sometimes with old drawers they get stuck. I just wanted to show you how all of the handles turned out. I think they're so cute. I ended up buying 2 more just so that they all match, and now we'll put them on. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like once it's all dry. You can see how matte the finish is. Now I'm just gonna clean up and decorate to take a picture. This is when I spend the next hour trying to find things around my house to make this look good. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep it pretty basic. I'm gonna take some pictures like this, see if I like it.